The darkness of Blackwood Manor, the eerie glow of an unknown force watching over a live stream, and the unshakable feeling that you're never truly alone. These are the threads that bind us all in a world where the unseen creeps ever closer. Whether it's a cursed auction where souls are the currency, a faceless entity slipping through the cracks of a streaming screen, or a shadow lurking just out of sight in your own home, one thing becomes clear. Some forces aren't meant to be understood. They thrive on fear, on silence, on the unknown. So as you step closer, know this: you're not merely watching, you're about to become part of the story. Welcome to the darkness. Welcome to the unknown. Blackwood Manor. The very name sent shivers down my spine. For years it had been whispered about, a place of shadows and despair. I never thought I'd see it myself, yet there I stood, drawn in by the cryptic note clutched in my trembling hand. The auction of souls, it read. Against all reason, I pushed through the creaking gate. Something was wrong from the moment I stepped inside. The air was cold and heavy, the guests' murmurs little more than whispers, slipping through cracks in the dark. Their faces were pale masks, unmoving yet filled with silent judgment. At the heart of it all, a table brimming with artifacts that seemed to pulse faintly in the gloom. I approached a small, ornate box that seemed to beckon me, until a voice shattered the unnatural stillness. He stood at the podium, towering and faceless. His mask caught the candlelight, a gleaming visage of death. "Welcome," he intoned, his voice as cold as the grave. "You are here to bid, not with gold, but with what is most precious." A chill passed through me as I felt every eye in the room shift, their lifeless stares now fixed on the auctioneer. In the corner of the room I found it, a ledger of souls. Each page held a name, a face. They were the guests, and many had already been claimed. The last page sent my stomach lurching. There, written in a trembling hand, was my name. The photograph slot beneath it lay ominously empty. She spoke without words. The locket began to glow, pulling something vital from her. I saw it, a pale, silvery mist, her essence drawn out. The light flickered as her body sagged, crumbling inward as if she were nothing but paper in the wind. My horror was complete. The bids were made with life itself. I tried to run, but my legs refused. A force I couldn't see held me in place. The auctioneer's voice, cold and final, pierced the suffocating silence. Bid or be bid upon. My hand moved against my will, reaching for the cursed box. The room was no longer still. It was alive with anticipation, every gaze fixed on me, their hunger palpable. I ran. The guests, their pale faces twisting into monstrous visages, screamed after me. The gavel fell again, the sound splitting the air. Shadows surged toward me, pulling at my coat, clawing at my arms. The door was my only chance, the light beyond my only hope. I threw myself toward it, feeling the cold grasp of the dark close in just as I slipped through. I staggered out into the morning air, the chill of the manor still clinging to my bones. In my hand, the invitation had turned blank, its weight gone, but its memory burned into me. I looked back, but the manor was no more than a distant haze. I walked away without a glance back, but deep down, I knew the place had left its mark. Some invitations, once accepted, never truly let go. Streaming was my world. I lived for the energy, the community, the thrill of going live. But that night, as I hit go live, I didn't realize what I was inviting in. It began with a flicker, a hiccup in the stream. The chat noticed first. "Who's behind you?" they asked. My room was empty, but their words clawed at my mind. I checked the replay. Frame by frame, it came into focus, a tall, faceless figure behind me. Every instinct screamed that I should run. But when I turned around, nothing. I checked the footage from my security camera. At exactly 3:33 a.m., it was there, closer this time, as if it knew I was watching, as if it was waiting. That night, the entity made its move. My screen distorted, my connection faltered. It stepped into view, its hollow gaze fixed on me. My audience screamed in the chat, but I couldn't respond. And then there was only static. When the feed returned, all that remained was a message: "Let me in." It wasn't me typing, and I knew then that it never had been a request. No one's seen me since. My chair is empty, my mic silent, but some say the channel still goes live. What they see there isn't me. The stream still goes live, the chair sits empty, and sometimes if you listen closely, you can hear a breath, faint, steady, and not my own. I never see him, I never hear him, but I know he's there. Some nights, it feels like he's waiting, watching. And when I walk past his door, I can feel his eyes on me, just out of sight. It started with footsteps, quiet, slow, deliberate. Each night they stop outside my door. They never move past. And when I look, there's no one there, only that shadow, waiting. I asked the landlord about my neighbor. He gave me that look, like I was crazy. No one lives there, he said. But I knew he was lying. I knew it wasn't just an empty apartment. I could feel something inside, something waiting to be found. I saw him, just a glimpse, not in the hallway, not in the apartment, in my mirror, a faint shape tilting its head, watching me. I spun around, heart racing. Nothing, only the cold. But the mirror didn't lie. At 2 a.m. my phone buzzed, a message from a number I didn't recognize. 4 words, "Do not open your door." My hands shook as I read it over and over. I didn't know who sent it. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what to do. It started as a soft knock, 3 times, then silence. I stayed perfectly still, barely breathing. I looked through the peephole. Nothing. But the knocking continued, slow, deliberate, and then the door creaked open. I didn't think. I didn't hesitate. I just ran. The hallway felt infinite, stretching out forever. The walls closed in, the air turned icy, and behind me I could feel it, chasing me, hunting me. I told the police everything. They didn't believe me. But then one officer pulled out an old photo. "This place?" he asked. In the picture, there it was, the shadow. It's always been here. I moved out the next morning. I left everything behind, but at night I still wake up and hear it. The knocking, 3 times, and then silence. It's still out there, waiting. As the story comes to a close, the shadows linger, whispering secrets that may never be uncovered. But remember, this world isn't as empty as it seems. The entities that haunt these tales might just be watching you next. So before you leave, look over your shoulder. The darkness has a way of following. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're feeling brave enough, hit the bell, just in case. You never know when we'll go live again, and when the stream might just take on a life of its own. Until then, keep the lights on. You never know what might be waiting in the dark.